Hey there fans, it's the master of the macabre, nightmare personified, the one and only, the Nail. So we're here today because the bigwigs at UKPW sent me a bunch of questions from the fans that they want answering. So I figured we're all stuck indoors and we're here at an undisclosed, isolated location because you know the Nail likes his isolation. And we're here today, we're going to answer some of those questions. So my first memory of actually wrestling in a ring was probably about 2007 for RAW locally in the hometown. I think it was a weird multiple elimination match. I think Dow Jones and a few other people were involved, and yeah, I don't believe I won the match by any means, but I remember the crowd enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the experience. It was really when I was a teenager and we got cable TV for the first time, and I was exposed to the WWF during the Attitude Era, and it was it was Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, The Rock, Kane, and Mankind, and like watching, episodes of Raw, highlights of SmackDown and stuff on TV the weekends, and then going to school really excited and pumped up about it, and then meeting friends and who also, they had the same interests as me, and they were also really excited about it. When we got together, we started talking a lot, and then we decided to go training together after school at the weekends. And that's when I knew I loved doing this. The first time I ever went to training and learned how to bump, how to fall, learned, collar and elbow tie-ups, wrist locks, and transitions, moves to moves, and headlocks, and hold for hold, and taking bumps in the ring. And it's just I knew instantly that I loved it, and I couldn't get enough of it. Literally, not enough of it at all. My all-time favourite wrestler, without a shadow of a doubt, is most definitely Raven. He had the most influence on me in terms of his persona, the way he carries himself in the ring, his character, his attitude, the aesthetics. But there's a lot of boys from the ECW days that I drew a lot of influence from. Terry Funk, Sabu, Cactus Jack, and throughout Mick Foley in general, really is a man to be admired, in and out of the ring, and try to be as much like him as possible. But we're our own people at the end of the day, and we have a few vices or whatever. But I aspire to try and be as best a person as I can in and out the ring, and give my all every time in the ring, so that the people get their money's worth. To be Johnny Storm, easily, because he's such a big name in the business and the UK scene. He's been all over the world, in America and Japan. Look up to a lot in Johnny Storm, and to have met him in person, and to know that he's a really nice, down-to-earth, humble guy is really refreshing to see, and I admire him a lot for everything he's done in the business. The fact that he's still going, doing what he does, and still doesn't skip a beat, and he's a really standout individual. James Mason as well, in the same vein, pretty much. Maybe not as well known or regarded as Johnny Storm, but in my mind every bit as good a wrestler in the ring, and is probably one of the most underrated UK stars at the minute. Jim Cornette as a manager was a really good bad guy. What he did with the Rock and Roll Express, etc. But as an individual in-ring performer, it's probably got to be the dirtiest player of the game. Woo! Ric Flair. I might not, like everything that he's done as a character, as a personality. I don't agree a lot with Ric Flair historically, but you've got to give credit where credit's due. The dirtiest player in the game, 2-time Hall of Famer, 4 Horsemen, legendary wrestler. No one can really say that he might be a bad person outside the ring or in life or whatever, but we're all flawed individuals, and at the end of the day, Ric Flair paved the way for a lot of people, like for us to follow in his footsteps. And I might not necessarily follow in his exact footsteps, but you can see talent like MJF, who basically in my eyes is like the second coming of Ric Flair, and there's a reason why MJF is so popular at the minute, and why Ric Flair is probably one of the greatest of all time. Some people would probably call me villainous. I don't know. I see myself as more of a lone wolf, but an out-and-out bad guy that is purely despicable in every way is got to be Dow Jones. I can't stand him personally. I've known him a long time. We go way back, and maybe that gets to me even more because I know we have such a history together, and there's just not really anything that he does that I could sit there and go, oh, that was a good thing that you did for someone. He's all about himself in his dirty tactics and underhanded schemes, and he's always walking around with his nose in the air like he's better than everybody else because he makes loads of money, probably at the expense of everybody else, which irritates me even more, gets on my nerves even more. So it's definitely Dow Jones, without a doubt. There are a lot of great moments, like when Dow Jones was in the cage match with Kyle Ashmore. I think Kyle did a huge dive off the top of the cage, and Dow Jones really got his just desserts there, what he deserved. Favourite personal moment of mine would have to be a match I had against Dow Jones, and he had me in the tree of woe in the corner, trapped in the corner, and he was taking advantage of my position, despite the referee getting on his case. But I managed to turn it around and counter with a sit-up spider-like suplex, and then followed up with a moonsault to win the match and get the win over Dow Jones. I do believe it's probably when I won the inter-regional title, but I could be mistaken. That was a good moment for me. Talking about all time here, I'd have to say my favourite wrestling costume of all time, purely for like the dedication and also the credibility that goes along with the name, is Jushin Thunder Liger. He was the first character that I ever saw to sort of personify kind of a Power Ranger type superhero, like in that extreme, the full body suit with a mask and all the hair as well, and still be able to do what he did and move in the ring like he did. And I've got to say that I was really sad to hear about his retirement. With what a great contribution to the wrestling business. Not an avid supporter of football, but I do occasionally follow the exploits of West Ham football team when they're actually playing you know, like with the whole quarantine, who knows what's going on with the Football League right now, so we'll see. I also enjoy, you know, playing a lot of video games because, you know, when you're stuck indoors at home, there's not really much else to do. So Street Fighter is my bag. Been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, hoping to get into the new Streets of Rage 4 game when that comes out. Listening to, you know, various types of sordid heavy metal bands and going to concerts when they're on. You know, normally I'd be going to gigs here, there and everywhere. Festivals were cancelled this year, which is a bit of a bummer, but you know, I'm saving money and trying to make personal improvements this year anyway, and you know, as soon as this quarantine's over, we'll get back in the ring, and we'll be in the ring in action as much as possible this year, so stay tuned, folks. My dream opponent, well, I have not really put too much thought into it, because really I just want to you know, I want to just go through whoever's put in front of me and you know, make a name for myself that way, like just carving a path right through the industry as on a whole. But if we had to talk, you know, dream matches, you know, I would have to go like, you know, I think like, you know, John Moxley would make a good match. We're obviously quite similar styled wrestlers, maybe similar movesets or whatever, but I think we would, you know, we would just go at it full bore in an all-out hardcore match. That would be really nice to do. Message to the fan and all the UKPW followers. Thank you for following me and supporting me. I do appreciate it. I know I'm not very active on social media, and I don't always let my fans know that I do appreciate them and their support that they give me. Feel free to get in contact with me on Facebook, and please continue to follow UKPW online. There will be a show as soon as all of this is all cleared up, and you're guaranteed I will be there. I will take on whoever I'm put in front of, and you know, I'm going to do it for the fans. So thank you.